The year is 1997, and Norun, the city of oil rigs, is in trouble. A great war has ended, and so has the world's dire need for oil. Rising tensions and a struggling economy has naturally led people to protest, riot, and even turn to crime. Combustion is a 3D action RPG with some immersive sim elements. You play as a cop named Calico who has to maintain order in a wild world where everyone is an animal. Oh, and there's also a mastermind serial killer running around. If you're into combustion engines, CRTs, and rust bucket robots, then this is the game for you. This one is part of the dieselpunk genre, which is closely related to cyberpunk. They share a lot of the same types of technological developments, but with a bit more grime and clunk here. Combustion will have a mission-based structure, so you'll be able to select main and side missions from a menu. In between these levels, different areas of the city will be open for you to explore. It's here that you can talk to NPCs, go shopping, and generally see how the city is doing. There are a bunch of different places to visit, like an arcade, a gift shop, the subway, and even an amusement park. As for the missions, you'll be doing regular cop and detective stuff like making arrests, conducting interrogations, following clues, and performing emergency services. These actions will most likely be related to the serial killer who's named Scorch. They've built up a small but dedicated following that's focused on ending the unnatural and industrialized way people are currently living. There is combat, and it seems like we'll mainly use Calico's special baton that has a variety of special upgrades, like a built-in lasso, freeze spray, and an electrical stunner. You also may have noticed this sweet set of wheels in some of the footage that's been playing. This is Combustion's motorcycle minigame that'll show up both in the game's story mode and also in the arcade. Fun fact, it's being made by Molgado, the developer of the low-poly platforming game Frogun. Something interesting I found during my search was a certain holiday they celebrate in the city of Norun, Shifter's Eve. Based on an old folktale about a shapeshifter walking a mile in the shoes of others, everyone dresses up as a different animal and eats a bunch of candy. I always love seeing little bits of lore that are kind of totally unnecessary to include in a game like this, but that make the world just a little bit more special. 3D Realms, who is publishing the game, has recently announced that their Realms Deep showcase will be back on September 30th, so I'm really excited to hopefully see another trailer there and maybe some more gameplay. Combustion started off as a solo project and then was eventually picked up by the publisher. Now there are about 10 different people working on the game, and they've started to share a lot more behind-the-scenes type stuff over on their blog. The original idea for Combustion, though, was to make something with low-poly critters. The theme wasn't initially chosen and was potentially going to take place in a medieval setting. If the devs are watching, you should make this your next project. Just saying. Eventually, though, dieselpunk was chosen since it's kind of a lesser known and underrepresented entry in the punk category. Funny enough, Calico was initially going to be a black cat, but it would have been too difficult to see the character in the dark, so they went with Calico. And the secret agent vigilante cop theme was inspired by some classics like Deus Ex, Metal Gear Solid, and even Batman. As for visuals, the dark industrial looks of Final Fantasy VII, Resident Evil 2, and Oddworld helped to set the mood. I'd like to leave you with a few words from the game's director, Frederick. My goal with Combustion has always been to create something that's in the spirit of the era, yet wholly unique. As such, its inspirations are many, and I enjoy being a bit of an alchemist with those influences, conscious or otherwise. A good example of this would be Calico's uniform, whose tailor obviously has been to Raccoon City, Shadow Moses, and Midgar. With a camera style like Metal Gear Solid, dieselpunk aesthetic like that in Final Fantasy VII and Oddworld, and the constrained exploration and interactions like the original Deus Ex, and much more, I hope that Combustion will be an interesting experience. Now the game is fully realized with moving characters, jump mechanics, exploration, NPC interactions, RPG mechanics, and novel interactions. Basically, all the things I always wanted this game to have. I've even been able to realize the smallest ambitions, like giving the game a dedicated smell button.